and welcome to my talk. As of now, I'll be talking regarding the philosophical foundations of peace education. As there are six prospective philosophical foundations of peace education, out of which five of them are Western philosophical foundation and only one is a non-Western. Now, this talk I'll be splitting into two parts. In this part, I'll be talking regarding Kalija's Kantian-inspired philosophy of peace, Daisaku Ikeda's philosophy of peace, Harris and Morrison's philosophy of peace, and Reardon's cosmopolitan philosophy of peace. The first one is the Kalijan's Kantian-inspired philosophy of peace. Joachim Kaliza analyzed Immanuel Kant's writings and discerned four major conditions that are prerequisites of peace: human nature, the power of reason, the rule of law, and the principles of morality. So this is Kant's philosophy of peace. Respectively, Kant believed that the features of people's mind, the ability to reason, the unconditional observance of law and freedom of others with a heavy focus on ends and means, rights and duties, and morality in politics are the necessary conditions for the emergence of the peace. From an intense analysis of Kant's musings, Kalija then developed his own agenda for a philosophy of peace. Kaliza deduced that communication, cooperation, and confidence are the three main pillars that emerge from Kant's philosophy of peace. First, communication between humans requires that peace education teach people to think critically, to actively integrate themselves into society, and to strive for greater solidarity amongst humans. Second, peace education must teach that cooperation is a natural human arts, the basic element in human coexistence. Third, Kaliza believed that where communication and cooperation exist, trust comes into play, leading towards confidence. Trust in each other is a sign of maturity. It is absolute ground for confidence building. So, Kaliza asserted that peace is not the ultimate objective of human coexistence, but it is the daily driving force towards more cooperation, more confidence, and more communication. Next is Daisaku Ikeda's philosophy of peace. Daisaku Ikeda, he tendered another approach to a philosophy of peace, deftly articulated by Urban. Daisaku Ikeda is the founder of the Toda Institute and the leader of the Buddhist organization named Soka Gakkai International (SGI). Now his peace philosophy is basically based on 13th century Japanese Nichiren Buddhism and centers on three main concepts, that is human revolution, genuine, productive, and enriching dialogue, which is made possible because of empowerment from inner transformation, and the global citizenship and civilization, which is based on interdependence, community, and collaboration, realizable because of both inner transformation as well as the interhuman dialogue. Ikeda places special emphasis on people's belief in the potential to strengthen their courage, wisdom, and compassion so that they can bring out their best self through meaningful exchanges and dialogue, better ensuring their engagement with the global world. Ikeda's philosophy unified three truths, namely emptiness, temporary reality, and mean or the middle part. Ikeda considers empty truth to be idealism, the pursuit of ideas and ideal, and temporary truth to be materialism, which is the pursuit of wealth and the possessions. These truths are viewed as two big forces opposing and confronting each other, each with independently strong opinions and preferred direction. Ikeda understands the middle way to be a path laying between these two forces, paving a way to put the public interest, practical policy, morality, and ethics at the forefront so that people can find prosperity and happiness, which is the third truth, that is essentialism. Presuming that the middle way is the essence of human life, Ikeda argues that people should not get attached to either of the two big forces because such attachment ignores too many fundamentals of the essence of human life. So Guha have clarified regarding Ikeda's philosophy that human life is the middle way. It is a bridge between the earthly existence or temporary material life and the cosmic entity or emptiness. So human life, it is a bridge, a middle part between the early existence, the materialistic world, and of the emptiness, the cosmic entity or emptiness, the idealism. Now let us talk of Harris and Morrison's philosophy of peace. Ian Harris and Mary Lee Morrison argued that peace education is currently considered to be both a philosophy and a process. The philosophy teaches non-violence, love, compassion, and reverence for all life. Contingent upon various doctrines of what constitutes peace, they propose that peace can be achieved through one of six strategies: military strength, justice, sustainability, transformation, politics, or education. First, Peace through military strength entails one side building up massive armaments as a deterrent. Guided by a desire for a balance of power, people on the other side can be convinced to not go to war because they may not win against the other side. This philosophy entails a well maintained and prepared armed forces thought to provide security in a dangerous world. This approach assumes the world is competitive, that humans are violent, and that deterrence is a viable peace philosophy. Second, peace through justice assumes peace can be reached by getting rid of structural violence, eliminating oppression and economic exploitation, and ensuring human rights and human security. This philosophy assumes peace can be achieved if humans' basic needs are protected and preserved. Third, the philosophy of peace through sustainability assumes peace can be achieved by non-violent relationship with and commitment to the human and natural world. People embracing this philosophy assumes that people are spiritually and materially connected to others and nature, and that there is enough for everyone. Fourth, some people hold the belief that peace can be achieved through pacifism and transformation. This philosophy assumes people can face confrontation using non-violence to resolve conflict and to deal with human aggression. Pacifism holds great confidence in the infinite possibilities of the human spirit. This philosophy further assumes humans are capable of love and personal transformation. A fifth philosophy is peace through politics or institution building. This approach assumes peace can be achieved or maintained order in society by making it through political channels to provide alternatives for resolving conflicts aside from all other war and violence. It may be through a Department of Peace, United Nations, international law, treaties, law, court, etc. It also assumes that humans can be rational and can successfully appeal to the common interests. Finally, peace education is a philosophy that posits people can be taught to gauge which philosophical orientation or foundation is appropriate given the situation. So, this philosophy assumes humans are capable of changing their behavior and beliefs as a result of the education process. So, it is assumed that peace education can draw out people's instincts to live peacefully with others. Riordan's cosmopolitan philosophy of peace. Betty Riordan maintained that the articulation of a philosophy of peace education is predicated on the critical task of defining the meaning of peace. She drew on both negative and positive conceptions of peace, ultimately calling for authentic peace grounded in international human rights and global justice. She understood authentic peace to mean the abolition of the war system and the establishment of global justice and a global civic community. Riordan's philosophy of peace is grounded in a cosmopolitan and transformative moral and political orientation, which provide a powerful framework for development of a philosophy of peace education. Betty Riordan positioned peace education within the broader issue of citizenship, enabling her to suggest that any philosophy of peace should be concerned with the political efficacy of future citizens, that is, the ability to engage in transformative political action. She linked this idea with cosmopolitanism, conventionally defined as familiar and at ease with many different cultures and countries. In her peace philosophy, Riordan accordingly defined cosmopolitanism as people valuing universal moral inclusion, grounded in respect for human dignity. Her philosophy of peace embraced the cosmopolitan ideal of universal respect for human dignity and moral inclusion, which is grounded in the value of universal moral equality. Each person is a morally equal member of the human moral community. So, appreciating the principle of universal moral equality, her philosophy holds that the rights of equal political consideration and equal political participation constitute political equality. In brief, or in summary, Riordan's philosophy of peace holds that the basic purpose of peace education should be the transformation of the social order and its implicit patterns of thought in the direction of authentic peace, a conception of peace that is grounded in a cosmopolitan, ethical, and political orientation. Thank you.